Okay, hello everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be. There's a chat. Get in the chat, say hello, make your presence visible here. Say hello, say something. Today, what I'm going to be working on and sharing with everybody is my approach to Joe Morello's Master Studies 1, his Stone Killer. That seems like a little bit of a funny name there, the Stone Killer. And it did come originally from George Lawrence Stone. Now, this has different levels here. And when I say levels, the approach is you might be playing for 3 months, you might be playing for 30 years, and your hands are happening, or you're just starting. The object here is to develop endurance and not to get hurt, because you can get hurt. I don't mean like, you're going to have to dial 911 for an ambulance, but you don't want to hurt any muscles in your arm or your wrist or your fingers. You want the stick to just be totally relaxed. So if you have Master Studies 1, I'm on page 55, Stone Killer, part 1. Now, it's like a triangle there, if you have the page, and you see, it's in reality vamping, how I lay out vamping. What I say about vamping is the way I originally learned how to vamp was from Joe Morello. I was doing the stick control book. I would do the line, repeat the line, and whatever hand that I ended with is the hand I would vamp with. And now vamping, I established the fact that I'm going to use an eighth note vamp. So that means I'm going to play eighth notes constant for 4 measures and go directly into the second line. And then whatever hand I end with the second line, I'm going to vamp with for an additional 4 measures. Now, I do this at different levels. And when I say levels, I mean sticking heights, the full stroke position, the half stroke position, and the quarter stroke position. Now, obviously, the more speed I'm going to pick up, the closer I'm going to get to the surface of the drum, because I don't have the time to wait for that. I mean, I could play them fast, but that's a heck of a workout. So let me just demonstrate at a reasonable tempo. Let's reach a happy medium here. Let's just say we have a couple different levels here of students. The one level might be, like I said, a year. The next one might be 30 years. So your hands are all developed differently. When I do this, there's a lot that I'm considering here. I'm not tensing up. I'm letting the stick do what it's supposed to do. And my right side and my left side, hello Scott, and my left side are equal. So for about a minute, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do 4 measure vamps. Hold on. At 120. Now it's not very fast, and I'm going to keep my stick about this height. Now the object is to make the right and left happen good. Happen the same. So I'm going to do that for about a minute. All right, gentlemen? And then we'll get into Master Studies. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Nice and relaxed. Let the stick do it. 4, 2. Like dribbling a basketball. No tension whatsoever. 2, 3, 4. 1. Equal sound. 2. You're relaxing your hands. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Left hand. 1. Equal sound. 2. If you were in the other room, 3. You should be able to tell which hand I was using. There's a slight difference on that one. 3, 4. Nice and relaxed. Loosening up. 2. Okay, that's a minute. Now I feel nice and relaxed. Now, the Stone Killer is designed a lot of different ways. Let's just take it as you're a beginner. How you doing, Mike? Igor, how you doing? Hello, guys. Welcome and have fun. If you have any questions, just shoot them out. We're working in Master Studies, Joe Morello's Master Studies. Do we all have the book? Is that Mike and Scott and Igor? Do we all have the book? Yes, no, maybe? Let me show you a picture of the book. When I studied with Joe, this is the book here. And this is not the original copy. The original copy was red and black. I think this is the second edition. Okay, if you don't have the book, I'll try to explain it. I normally write out the PDFs. Hey Scott, did you get the PDFs from the other day? Scott, I sent you the PDFs. You have any questions on those? Okay, good. You're welcome. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. The first section of the Stone Killer, like I said, don't mix up what I'm saying with levels of the sticking heights or downstrokes or upstrokes. There's different degrees here or levels of students. Like I said, if you've been playing a year, maybe you're holding the stick too tight, or you're holding it German or French. I hold my sticks traditional. Okay? So, we're going to do it slow. I'm going to do one measure of eighth notes. We're going to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's going to take care of the right side of me. And then I'm going to go 3 and 4 and to the left side. So in reality, what I'm doing is I'm playing 4 rights in a row and 4 lefts in a row. I'm going to take it really slow. And if you're just beginning, I'm going to do this at 80. And I'm going to do this in the full stroke position. That's my quarter note. So I'm going to play 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, what you need to do here is make sure that that right hand and left hand are sounding equal. We don't want to hear this. The object in the brilliance of George Lawrence Stone was to equalize, the stick control was to equalize the right side and the left side of you. Okay? To make it strong, your attack on the right, the attack on the left, to be equal. That's the object. I mean, you know, most people that I know are right-handed. And how you doing, Dan? And other people are left-handed. So, obviously, if you're right-handed, your left side is going to be a little weaker. If you're left-handed, your right side is going to be a little weaker. So I would spend a lot of time on my weaker side, trying to equalize the balance of sound with the right and with the left. So I'm going to do the first one again. I'm going to do it in full strokes. Maybe I should slow it down. I'm doing 4 rights and 4 lefts. That's the Stone Killer. If you have the book, Dan, that's page 55. Stone Killer Part 1. Okay? So I'm going to do them in full strokes. That's my quarter note. The slower the better. That's the quarter note. So I'm going to play eighth notes. 4 rights, 4 lefts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Equal sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure the turns are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. How did I get that? Wait a minute. 1, 2. Sorry. There you go. 1, 2. Throw down. Follow it back. Now, that's at a slow tempo. You feel good with that. Who's this? Oh, no. Scott, well, see, now this is going to be broadcast. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube as a video, and people will be watching it. So what I'm going to have to do, Scott and gentlemen, I'm going to have to repeat the question. Now, Scott, you're telling me, would it be fair to conclude that until you get the right hand, the mobility of the offhand, the left hand in your case, equal to the right, it's okay? No. No, 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 no. That's the object of the stick control book. That's the object of doing these exercises, is to maintain the balance on the right side and the balance on the left side. We don't want this. So let's just say that's what's happening to some people. All right, so you have to, you see, the practicing is a personalized thing here. If you hear that, you have to make the adjustment. So you say your right hand is louder. You don't want to continue to practice that way. All you're going to be doing if you do that is practice that in the different sound. You want to maintain the equalness of sound. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to play a little harder with my left, work it harder, and equal it to the right, or do I want to bring the right down to equal it to the left? Example, 1. That's what we got. 1. So I got to make a decision. Now I'm going to lighten it. That's what you need to do. Equalize the right. Who's this? Mr. Dog Drummer. Where do these names come from? Okay, hello, welcome. This is your first time here, and I'm going to announce this again and a few times throughout the lesson. First of all, let me get to Scott again. Scott, do you see what I just did? I made a decision. Should I hit if I'm hitting like this, do I make the right hand lower or do I make the left hand heavier? Well, something has to be done to equalize it. But depending on the strength of your left hand, I would make it harder. Work for that. And you're going to go through changes there. It's not going to be equal at first. You have to work at it. You're the gentleman or the person or the lady or whoever holding the drumsticks. You control the drumsticks. You produce that sound when it makes impact on the drum or the drum pad. That's what you do. Okay? So you make that adjustment. If you're going to continue like this, there's no sense. Absolutely no sense. Okay, anyway, for the first timers, there's a few of them here. And what I do in the afternoons, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I do a one surface lesson on the drum pad. I work on hand technique, I work on the stick control book, master studies, the stick control, I said that, the syncopation book, and I've developed a lot of different exercises of my own from the stick control book. Now, in the evening, okay, I have another site which I can do a drum set application. This particular site is not set up for housing a drum set because it'll sound good in this studio, but going to you, you know, I have a set of DWs there, 2 sets of DWs, and they sound good. But if I play the DWs on the camera that I'm using, it's gonna come to you as garbage cans. So what I do in the evening is whatever I cover in the afternoon, I do with a drum set application. Now whoever's here is invited. Now I'm opening my lesson room up for free until January. So you can see what it is, you look around, make new friends, learn as much as you possibly can. So again, I'm going to give you the website page, and my lesson tonight is at 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So if you're available and you feel like you want to come, come. We do a drum set application. So let me put it in there now, and you know, you could go there now and bookmark it or whatever. There you go. Now, it's free until January. I'm going to close it up. You have to be a member. You can see the lesson. You could ask questions in the chat. You should get into the chat. and make new friends. So I do a whole drum set application. I don't know exactly what I will be working on today or this evening. Maybe a little jazz, a couple jazz patterns, or maybe some linear concepts, or maybe some basic rock patterns. It depends who comes. All right? Usually I give the students their choice. If there's a problem with something, not a problem, but if they don't clearly understand something, I ask them, and if they want me to demonstrate it, I will. I try to be as accommodating as possible. But enough is said, man. I want to get into this lesson here. Absolutely, Mr. Mike, you got to keep them equal. If you were in the next room and you were listening to that, you should not be able to tell whether I hit my right hand or my left hand. Now, the Master Studies, it's a triangle, and it's all eighth notes. You have eighth notes on the right hand, eighth notes on the left hand. The first line is 4 rights and 4 lefts in an eighth note formation, like this. And I'll do it for a while. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Make the adjustment, equalize the sound. Now, the second line, he extends or the right hand, and he extends the left hand. Instead of 4 rights, he makes it 8 rights. And instead of 4 lefts, he makes it 8 lefts. So the next line, okay, it's progressing more and more right at this point. I'm playing 1 measure of eighth notes with my right hand, 1 measure of eighth notes with my left hand. Okay, so I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So on and so forth. So I'm going to put the metronome on. I'm going to go to 120 because the 60 really, I don't mean to, it kind of puts me to sleep at the moment. It's really hot in here. I had a long morning so far. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave it at 120. That's my quarter note. I'll play the first time 4 rights, 4 lefts, and go directly into 8 rights, 8 lefts. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now I kept it at a little different level here. I could bring it up a little bit. Let me bring it up to 160 maybe, or 170. There you go. That's my quarter note. I'm going to do 4 rights, 4 lefts, 8 rights, 8 lefts. It's a loosening up exercise. It has a lot of value here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Now, nobody's perfect, okay? When I was playing that, I made an adjustment because my right hand was a little bit heavier at times. So the next time around, I adjusted it so that my right and my left were equal. Now that takes you to the first 2 lines of part 1. Let's go to the third line. Now, first off, line 1 and line 2, excuse me, was written in 4/4. Line 3 is written in 6/4. Now, as soon as somebody hears something out of 4/4, they have a panic attack. Okay. All 6/4 is the different time signature. And what you should know is how to give a definition of a time signature. Okay? And if you follow this rule, you could give any definition of any time signature. Okay? So we have 4/4. The top number indicates the number of beats per measure. So if I'll bring the metronome back down. I'm going to bring it to 80. That's my quarter note. 1, 2, 3, measure. 1, 4 beats to a measure. Now, 4 beats to a measure, that's what the top number indicates. The bottom number of the time signature indicates the type of beat, the type of note that's going to get 1 beat or 1 count. 4/4, there's 4 beats to a measure. And each quarter note receives 1 count or 1 beat. So, I'm playing 4 quarter notes to measure. Measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the math comes in. Oh, you're from Holyoke, Mass, or is that Massachusetts or Maryland? I guess Massachusetts, right? Okay. Now, the math. Everybody knows fractions, I hope. Okay. 2 eighth notes equal 1 quarter note. So what I need to do here, because I'm playing eighth notes to that tempo, I need to get 2 strokes, or 2 notes, equal distant between the downbeat. There's my downbeat. That's 1, 2 quarter notes. Now I'll play eighth notes. 1, 2, 3. I'll play 2 eighth notes and then quarters. Syncopation reading. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3. Now play straight eighth notes. Now I can play, I don't want to get into eighth note triplets because it's going to take me away from the lesson. But we'll get into that another time. So far we hit on 4/4. I explained a little bit of a rule to give a definition. The top number indicates the number of beats per measure. 4/4 is 4 beats to a measure. And the bottom number indicates the kind of note that's going to receive the count or the beat. So now we go to a different time signature. 6/4. I'm not going to tell anybody what 6/4 means. I'll let you guys to put it in the chat if you possibly can. Is that all right with you guys? Six, 4. The top number indicates the number of beats per measure. The bottom number indicates the kind of note that receives a count or a beat. So you have 6/4. I just gave you the definition. So 4/4, 4 beats to a measure. Each quarter note receives 1 count or 1 beat. 6/4, there's 6 beats to a measure, and the quarter note receives a count or a beat. Yeah, well, 12/8 is the same as 4/4, or 2 measures of 6/8. 12/8, now you're going to get me into triplets, Igor, which is fine. You did exactly the blues. The blues is all 4/4. You can make it 12/8. You can make it 6/8. Because that's where the blues come from, is the march, the 6/8. And that's another lesson. But anyway, 12/8 would mean there's 12 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the eighth note receives 1 count or 1 beat. 6/8, 6 beats to a measure. Each eighth note receives a count or a beat. But let's go to the 6/4. We're on the 3rd line of the Stone Killer, part 1. Now we did 4 rights, 4 lefts. We did 8 rights, 8 lefts. Now we're going to expand on that, and we're going to make, instead of that, we're going to do 6 rights and 6 lefts. So I'm going to do the 3rd line, 6/4, 6 rights, 6 rights. No, sorry. I'm going to 12 rights and 12 lefts. I apologize. So what we have here now is 1 and 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was 4 rights, 4 lefts, 8 rights, 8 lefts. Then you have 12 rights and 12 lefts. At a tempo, let's go to 100. That's the quarter note. 3 lines over and over again. 1, 2, 4. Here we go. 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Back to the top. 5, 6. 1, 2, up the tempo on that. Now it's actually, if you have never done this before, if you link, yeah, if you want, if YouTube allows that, you can. They have master studies that you could download. I mean, you can give everybody the site. That would help them out. I don't know if they're going to download it now, but that would be nice, because we're going to be doing this week and next week a lot of work for master studies. I tried to start it yesterday, but nobody has the book, and I think that's pirating, correct? There you go. If you gentlemen are on Facebook, well, I'll tell you what, Scott, why don't you do this? You have my email. You have my email. Email me the link. And everybody here, if you want the link, email me, I'll send you the link. Because if you're going to come and you're going to frequent this site, we're going to use the book. So my email is is that a dot? Yeah, comma. That's it. mattpatella1001@gmail.com. You email me, I'll put you on my mailing list, and it makes life a lot easier if you're going to frequent these kind of lessons. Now, I would recommend it, and that's very nice of you, Scott. The only thing I don't like is if somebody's knocking on my door, like the copyright police. Oh, you send it to me Skype? Thank you. Okay. All right, gentlemen, email me. I'll send you the link. Thank you, Scott. And you can pay my $10,000 fine when the copyright police knock on my door. Okay, we're going to go to the last part of the triangle now. So far we did 4 rights, 4 lefts. Then 8 rights, 8 lefts, 12 rights, 12 lefts. And then we're going to do now, let's see, that's 16 rights, 16 lefts. 2 measures. So here I go. I'm going to put it at 100. And I'm going to do the triangle, and I'm going to go back to the top when I complete it. Now it's very difficult for me, or anybody really, to talk while you're doing this and remember where you're at. So just bear with me. I'm doing the triangle. 2, here we go. This is 4, 8, 12, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, back to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 12 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I don't know the level of the people that are in here, they're playing. So I'm keeping a happy medium here. If you have never done something like this, you have to approach it with this in mind, that, like I said in the beginning, you want to make the right hand and the left hand equal. And you want to do it in all the different stroking positions, or the sticky knives rather. I'll do it in full strokes at a tempo like this. 3 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Over and over again. Then, that's a workout. I would actually do it a little slower. And then that's the full stroke position. Now you might want to come to, say, 140 and do it at the half stroke position. Now this is not about speed. you're developing your ability to play for a longer period of time. You're expanding the muscles in the right hand and in the left hand. And the object here is to be totally relaxed and equalize the sound on the right and equalize the sound on the left. Now I can play these for a little time, a little period of time at 208. I mean, that's a workout, man. And I'm getting too old for that, but I can do that. And that's eventually where you want to go. But if you never have done something like this, I would stay with the full stroke and do it for a while. Then the next step after that, I have it on 140. I'm going to go to the half stroke position, like here. Now I'll do the line. I'll do the triangle. 1, 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's in half strokes. Now you feel really loose with that. You want it to happen. If it's happening, you might want to up it to 200 eventually, not immediately. And I go to a different stroking position here. Instead of full stroke, half stroke position, I go to the quarter stroke position, which is that. And I'll run it down. And that's moving. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Made a mistake there. But you see what I'm talking about. You don't want to run this. It's not a contest. It's about you controlling the stick, being better and better and better. Now that's the first stone killer. We're going to go to the second stone killer. It's the same thing, but we have an accent on the first note of the grouping. And this is where the level system comes in. So if you're not familiar with the levels, this will make you familiar with the levels. Everybody needs to do that. The more you know about what you're doing, the better you're going to be able to do that. So we're going to take the first one again, 4 rights and 4 lefts, without an accent. Now the second part, he puts an accent on the first note of the grouping, which would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the process is the same as the Stone Killer Part 1, but now what you have, all right, is you have the accent on the first note of the grouping. The second line, there's 2 groupings of 4. So he's putting the accent on the first grouping. So I'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now I'm playing my bass drum or my foot 1, 2, 3, 4, and the level or the formula is down, tap, tap, up. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like so. Okay? Now we go to the third line, 3 groupings. We have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and. So now I'm to the last line where there's 12, or no, 16 rather. Yeah, I get confused. 16 rights, 16 lefts. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 twice. Left hand. Now when you're doing this, there's more to listen for and be careful of. That's make sure you're coming down and the taps and the upstroke are equalized in sound. Down, tap, tap, up. There's a consistent sound with my tap and my upstroke. You have two different sounds in the grouping. You have an accent and a non-accent. Okay, do we all understand this so far? Because I'm just going to do that page today. You have any questions on it? I do love questions. They make me think, and sometimes if I don't know the answer, to research. You have a question, Dan? Remember, gentlemen, if you're all going to be, if you want to see the drum set application for this, you have my website. Come visit it. You want the link for Master Studies on Google? Email me. I'll email it to you. Any questions, gentlemen? Yes, no, maybe. Like I said, this is only, okay, only a one surface application here. Okay, let's talk about that because that gets me crazy, molar. Let me explain something to you about molar and the stone and all this nonsense. The only reason why there's a molar technique is because of Jim Chapin. I mean, Jim Chapin was a great teacher and a great drummer, and he did contribute a whole lot to the drumming community. I don't use molar, if you want to call it whatever you want to call it, and I don't use stone. I use the laws of physics. Okay. All right, and I'm gonna demonstrate this. A lot of guys call this molar, but it's not molar. All right, it's what it is my body is totally relaxed. I'm able to receive the stick and not prevent it from doing what it's supposed to do. If I hit a drum from this point, that's called a free stroke. If I hit a drum from this point, that's a quarter stroke. So notice the two different sounds. That's the laws of physics, the distance. That's not molar. When people talk molar, here's what they think molar is this. That's not a whip. It's not. That's not a whip. What that is a pump. That was taught to Joe Morello. I forgot the guy's name, Spacek or something like that. I got to research that. But that's where he learned it. You're playing. You're going, say you're doing triplets. And you want to accent the downbeat. That's not molar. Molar to me is this. And let me explain to you where molar actually really came from. Now, by no means, Sanford Moeller was an excellent musician, an excellent drummer, and had great hand technique. And that's what he taught. But he taught, like everybody else does, what they learned from their teacher. Sanford Moeller learned from a Civil War drummer. That's going way back now, guys. A Civil War drummer. Now, think about it. You have a battle going on in the field. They're using muskets, and there's no CB radio or computer or communication with headquarters to give signals to do attack, right flank, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Okay? So, the drummers would have a field drum, which was real deep, like so. Okay? And that usually it was housed either with a calf skin or a mule skin, and the tensions were not steel; they were rope. You bring the tension up or bring it down, depending on the sound that you wanted. Now, mule skin and calf skin change from the weather. If it's humid, if it's damp, or whatever, they change. Now you have to understand too, you're in a field, and you have a brigade of soldiers attacking. and they're getting good fire, and cannons are going off, bang, and all that good stuff. Okay, so the drummers had to be heard. So to be heard, they would pound the drum. And everybody I've talked to so far does not know a true molar grip. Now, I researched this. I hold my stick French. Molar held his stick like a baseball bat. Imagine that. And they held their left hand, traditional, but like this. And they would hit hard. That's where that was born. And that teacher showed Sanford Molar that system. And Sanford Molar modified it. Okay? And Jim Chapin studied with Sanford Molar. Whereas me, I studied with Joe Morello, who studied with George Lawrence Stone. And I've compared both techniques. I do not use, by no means, molar. I don't even know what that is. I was never taught molar rather. I was taught the laws of physics. I'm dribbling a basketball. There's no molar here. I want an accent. I bring the stick up and come down. That's called the levels of drumming. And everybody plays with that. Okay, so, I mean, if you want to call it molar, call it that. I mean, I'm not going to argue or start a war. But, I mean, you know, the language of drumming, the communication of drumming gets very confused. I don't know where that comes from. It's like I preach. I mean, Joe Morello, for example, you listen to him play or you see some of his videos, his hand technique, the guy's a monster. And to sit next to him for on and off for 30 years with a drum pad or a snare drum and to see it live is unbelievable. And he learned all of that, okay, from Billy Gladstone and from George Lawrence Stone. And he don't use molar. I mean, a true molar, let me straighten it out, okay, Igor? I mean, that's a good question. I'm glad that you brought that up. You still here? All right. Igor, you here? Yeah, you're here. Okay. First off, I laugh at when somebody says, is that molar? I mean, it's not that I'm laughing at that person. It's just that the definition. There's a video on YouTube. You should watch it. We'll go to sleep, man. Watch this video. The drummer's on the wrong gig. You see him playing like this. And what that is, he's making fun of molar. That's exactly what it is. I have not seen any of today's drummers that are in the public eye, like Billy Cobham, what's his name? Steve Smith, Vinny Colaiuta, Dave Weckl. They preach molar, but it's not molar. And they don't play molar. Nobody plays molar. Well, that's fine. I don't take it as disrespect, Igor. I'm not taking it. I just like to clarify it. Okay? I'm not giving you a hard time by no means. Okay? You just need to, or not just you, but most drummers need to understand and make it clear about the definitions or the language of drumming. When somebody says molar, right away they go like this. That's not molar. It's the laws of physics. Every action has an opposite reaction. I throw the stick down, boom. Guess what? It comes back. Hello. I didn't do anything. I threw the stick down and I followed it back. I let the stick do what it was supposed to. I throw the stick down, I hold it down. I control the stick. That's not molar. That's the laws of physics. I prevented it from coming back. If I want to hit it harder, I come over here like this. That's not a whip. That's a pump. It all comes from the wrist. When it comes from the wrist, my arm, my elbow, and my fingers help the wrist. Everything comes from the wrist. I just get into a lot of, and I'm not going to argue, I'm not arguing with you, Igor, believe me. I'm not going to argue with so-called ambassadors of drumming. That it's molar. It's not molar because they take a living off of molar. They don't even know what the hell it is. You know, half molar, right molar, left molar, up molar. That's ridiculous. Look, you get here, let me simplify it for you, Igor. And I'm not taking this as disrespect. If you're playing like this, look, this is so natural. Now there's no molar here. I'm just letting the stick come back. I'm doing signals. If I want to accent a note, my stick has to come up and come back down in a different position. You see it? That's the laws of physics. I put it in this position to come down. You get a little kid. Are you married, Igor? You have a little child, a son, a daughter, or a nephew or niece or whatever, that they want to play drums. They pick up the drumsticks like this naturally. And they're trying to imitate you or whoever they're watching, and they go like this. And you say, okay, play one louder. What they do, okay, is they naturally lift the stick, come up, and come down. That's not molar. That's the laws of physics. It's a natural hit. It's just natural. Give your child your sticks. Have him hit on the drum pad and say, keep it quiet. He will naturally, he understands the distance. He'll go like this, or she'll go like this. You say, okay, hit it. One note harder. They naturally would lift the stick and come down to that same spot, the two sounds. It's natural. You play like I'm teaching, and you don't even know it. It's just natural. All right, gentlemen, I'm going to have to close it up, but let me just make a few more announcements. Okay? This happens on YouTube every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. If you come to this site, and I'm not here, it means something came up, and I can't contact everybody. So if I'm not here, it's supposed to start at 1. If I'm not here by, 10 after 1, that means there's no lesson for the day. In the evening, Monday at 8:30, Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m., and you should come to my site, Mr. Igor. Okay? And all you guys should all come. All right? Come to the site. My pleasure. I hope I can help out or straighten it out. I love the chat. I love people asking questions, and we can talk about them. You know, there is no animosity or disrespect, being felt here. It's all about going forward and learning. We all are on the same path, the same journey. We are in certain different places, but we're always trying to learn as much as we can and help each other and get better. Come to the site, okay? No problem. What country are you from, Igor? You from America, or where are you looking for? You might not be able to get on. Where are you from, Igor? Email me, I'll give you all the information, okay? And there's no disrespect. We're all in the Soviet Union. Okay, good. I'm not sure. It was 1989. You came from the Soviet Union in 1989 to America? Where are you in America now? Okay. Email me, I'll give you all the details. And at 8 o'clock tonight, you can come to the lesson and check it out. That's what it's for, man. Come into the chat, hang out, make friends. No fighting. I'm only kidding. Yeah, you can state your piece, and somebody else is going to state their piece. There's no animosity. There's no condescending to anybody. Unless you ask a goofy question. Okay. Scott, behave. Okay, gentlemen, if there is no questions, I'm going to sign off. Email me, and hopefully I'll see everybody tonight. Now remember, every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here. I usually announce it on Facebook if you go on Facebook. Yeah, well, you have to be careful, Igor. I agree with you. I just want to learn as well. And there is so much information out there. But there's more misinformation than there is good information. So you need to be careful. It's best to listen to everybody and take what you can and what works for you and go with it. Eventually when you play with the band, I mean, I don't play rock. I mean, I used to. I made a living doing that. I play jazz. And jazz to me is the only art form of music, in my opinion. There's all kinds of things like playing out of the box, improvising, concept. There's just so much. And in reality, what happens is this: the more you learn, the more you understand you have to learn. What was that? Do you learn stuff from teaching it inexperienced people? Well, okay, let me address that. When you say inexperienced, first of all, let's take somebody from day one. Say a 15-year-old, never had drum lessons in his life. I love to teach those kind of people because there's no bad habits. Now, you get somebody that comes to me, who's been playing 30 years and wants to argue, well, it's not going to work. What I do is lay out what I teach and explain and break down and dissect everything and explain what's going on. Now it's up to you. Now I learn every day from everybody. Either it's a conversation or drumming. I mean, there's so much to pick up. I think I'm pretty much set in technique, but I do open my ears to be more creative. Inexperience is inexperience. I mean, for me to play, to say I'm experienced in comparison to say Buddy Rich or Joe Morello or Elvin Jones, well, I'm inexperienced to that level. Those guys are playing, man. They're out there. But I mean, if somebody gave me a chart to read a big band, I'll read it down, sight read it. I mean, I've come across a lot of great drummers who've done that, and you don't even know their names, and they're able to do that. They're artists, school musicians, and they do play very creative. You reside in Brooklyn, okay. Good place to be, man. All right, I'm going to have to sign off. The questions are really nice, Scott. Very good. Igor, it was a pleasure to meet you. Dan, we'll see you tonight. Hopefully I see you tonight, Igor. And Scott, I hope I see you. And whoever else. Okay, gentlemen? Time to leave.